Hi everyone, welcome back to Sun Devil Source. We're here at Camp Tontozona. Things just wrapped up. We just finished the scrimmage a couple minutes ago. I'm Gabby Chernoff, he's Chris Cartman. And just to jump right into things, the quarterbacks today, they struggled in the beginning. A couple of interceptions thrown by Jeff Sims. Sam Levitt, a fumble early on, but Trent Bourget actually did have a really good day. What did you see in that regard from the quarterbacks?
Very rough at the outset of that, Gabby. Sam Levitt, it was a mesh handoff that he seemed to just drop the ball, recovered by the defense. Jeff Sims' first interception was a really bad decision and throw. Second one was a little bit more borderline. I think he sort of didn't recognize the coverage perhaps on a similar type of a concept. You can't have those happen. Jeff Sims, his background is turning the football over at Nebraska. That's the knock on him. He hasn't done it too much in camp to this point. Neither has Sam Levitt. But there were too many today. I did think that, though, that Sam Levitt rallied quite well. He finished the day relatively strongly with a couple of nice drives, scrambled, which is an asset that he has at his disposal, and more accurate throwing the ball later on in the session. Bourget, as you said, did a really good job, multiple touchdown throws with the third team. It's a little bit easier against a third team defense, so harder to calibrate, but clearly the Bourget and Levitt were better than Sims today.
Yeah, and what does that say about Sam Levitt overcoming that adversity and bouncing back as far as the context of that starting quarterback competition?
Yeah, I think he has a next play mentality. That's something that you kind of learn about him, is he's very sort of chill and low-key with the way he goes about his business. He's very confident. He talked about his ability to improvise and run, and what people will see when you're playing live football. Quarterbacks aren't able to be hit out here, so they're still not getting some of that. But I do think that from what we saw today, that Sam Levitt is overwhelmingly likely to be named the starting quarterback for ASU. Probably not for a while yet. They have another scrimmage a week from now, so maybe sometime after that in the days following, but everything is trending in that direction.
Yeah, you mentioned his confidence, and we just talked to him actually. He says he's very confident in the offense. He feels a little bit more relaxed when he can make plays, and he knows that the offense will kind of be able to translate on those. So kind of zooming out a little bit more of a bird's eye view, what did you see from the offense as a whole?
Well, I thought they set the tone quite well, actually, even before they got to the scrimmage. There were a good sort of blocking that I saw. Shimon Mateer had a really nice pancake block in a screen drill that they ran. Then he followed it up by having probably the catch of the day, a one-handed grab in the corner of the end zone thrown by Levitt, which was sort of near the end of the scrimmage, which was great. I thought the run game, hit or miss. There was a good job by the defense kind of stuffing up some of the interior runs, but on the perimeter, some of those guys got loose. We saw Kyson Brown on a wheel route reception that he took up the sideline for a 30 or something yard touchdown, which was a pretty impressive play. They have plenty of skill. Malik McClain has been good up here at Camp Tontozona really since he's joined the team. He had a couple nice catches, and there's a bevy of, which Kenny Dillingham used, a bevy of weapons that they have at their disposal at the skill position. So that's not really cause for concern. The one real issue was I thought that the pass protection was mediocre with the second group. And they have some guys that have been held out here because of injuries or whatnot, and so there's more walk-ons playing with that second group, which is a big part of it. The defensive line is really deep, and you saw that advantage that group has over the second team offense. Jeff Sims was sacked like 4 times. That makes it a lot tougher when you're trying to find time to feel comfortable in the throws that you're making.
And then on the other side of the ball, the defense, they really emphasized in this camp getting those takeaways, and we saw they did a pretty good job of that today. So what overall thoughts do you have on the defensive performance today?
Yeah, there were the interceptions that we talked about. Also, Keyshawn Elliott did a great job. He had multiple passes defended around the line of scrimmage. They have got their hands on a lot more balls, and even when plays have been completed or seemingly completed, they fought to strip the ball out, which has been a big development. I feel like Mason Williams has had a better camp than I had anticipated. He was in the backfield, had a nice TFL, made a few plays. People maybe assumed that Cole Martin would come in and take that nickel spot away from him, and that really hasn't solidified. It's very close competition, and that really is something that we've seen really across the entire defense. Now, something that was negative today was Prince Dorba and Clayton Smith both went off the field with some apparent apparent injuries. Didn't really see what happened with Smith, but Dorba was limping pretty good, so that's something to watch because those are their two best pass rushers. But then Elijah O'Neal, Jamon Tapp, Roman Petrie, they were all in the backfield quite a bit, making plays, getting some sacks, and they had also Jeff Clark had a safety where he flashed into the end zone on a handoff to Alton McCaskill, and he was able to make that play. So a lot of really good plays. I didn't see too many coverage busts on the back end. Sam Levitt missed a couple of opportunities to take advantage of some separation that some receivers had, especially earlier in the day. But overall, I would say this was a pretty good day by the defense.
Yeah, and you mentioned TFLs. There were quite a few of those today. So what does that aspect of today's game say about the defense?
Well, it's a very aggressive scheme. It's Brian Ward, the defensive coordinator, likes to say that they are trying to stop the run on the way to the quarterback. And I was even talking before practice to Zach Swanson, who came in from Texas as a transfer, former Brophy Pep standout, and he was just raving about how much he likes this scheme compared to what he had been in previously at Texas because of how aggressive that it really is and the freedom that guys have to be able to go out and make plays. Iris Fiasu had a great play today. I thought Keyshawn Elliott was really good. Jordan Crook as a linebacker has come on and made a lot of strides. Tate Romney made plays in the backfield. They have a very deep linebacker group. That's one of the biggest takeaways is that their linebacker group is deeper and more talented, and I think they'll be better than they were a year ago. Their pass rush is still really good. Safety is the strength of the team. Cornerback, we got to watch a little bit, but there were, I thought, some nice plays even on the perimeter today by LT Welch and others. Yeah, so good day by the defense.
Yeah, so this was the first time we've kind of gotten to see everything come together in a game-like format with the scrimmage, with the conclusion of Camp T. We're about halfway through this preseason camp. So what are your overall thoughts through these first couple weeks, week and a half or so?
So prior to today, they had done a very good job in not turning the football over. And today it was the three by the top two quarterbacks. So that's a step backward in that key area. That's one of the things that we've talked about as being super important in their ability to be successful. I do think that Cameron Scadaboo and DeCarlos Brooks and the collection of running backs that they have is a strength of the team. The first group, offensive line, I think has been pretty solid and should be fine. So we'll have to see another scrimmage, I think, before we make too many rash decisions about what we thought about from today. But this was a day that didn't give you as much confidence, probably, as what had been the case in the first 10 or so days of camp. I still think this is a team that very much can be a bowl, competing for bowl eligibility into November, but there's more work to be done.
Yeah, and we'll see how they can kind of adjust to those things. Another scrimmage at Mountain America about a week from now. But until then, we'll take a day off tomorrow on Sunday, and then Monday we'll be back in Tempe for preseason camp. So until then, Gabby Chernoff, Chris Cartman for Sun Devil Source.